This is 6 Minute English from bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello and welcome to 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English. We'll be talking about a story in the news and learning some vocabulary along the way. I'm Alice, and joining me today is Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hello, Alice.
Now, Rob, are you a cyclist?
Yes, I ride a bicycle.
Even on the mean streets of London?
I do indeed. London streets are very dangerous for cyclists. Over 110 cyclists have been killed on the UK's roads in 2012, 13 of them in London.
That's quite a lot for one city. Although there are many cycle paths painted onto roads in London, bikes are rarely separated from the traffic, and many roads are very narrow. But some people think it's the cyclists themselves who are to blame for accidents. A documentary called The War on Britain's Roads has been investigating the issue. Before we find out more, a question for you, Rob. The website bicycling.com has made a list of what it thinks are the best cities for cycling in the world. Only one in the top 5 isn't in Europe. Can you guess where it is? Is it A, Beijing, China, B, Tokyo, Japan, or C, Bogota, Colombia?
I haven't a clue, really, but at a guess, I'd probably say Tokyo.
As usual, we won't hear the answer till the end of the programme. Now, more about this battle between cyclists and motorists on Britain's roads.
Now, come on, Alice, is it really a battle?
Well, some people think so. Here's Jan Etherington, a journalist and comedy writer, who thinks cyclists in London behave like gladiators in lycra. That's the stretchy material a lot of cyclists wear.
It's not the mode of transport, it's the people. I think there are motorists and there are cyclists who wake up in the morning not thinking if I can help somebody as I go along my way, but finding their inner gladiator. They immediately, in cyclist case, put on the helmet and the lycra and go out to war. And it's a minority, but it's the noticeable aggressive minority that I think the cycling community should recognise and address.
Journalist Jan Etherington, who thinks that cyclists are to blame for dangerous cycling. She thinks that some cyclists put on their helmet and lycra and go out to war.
But she did say that it's a minority, so not all cyclists.
Yeah, she said it's the aggressive minority, the small number of cyclists who cycle in an aggressive manner.
Aggressive, so that's in a dangerous and challenging way.
Yes. Jan Etherington wants the cycling community to do something about aggressive cycling. She wants them to address the problem.
So, how do cyclists defend themselves? Aren't cyclists just protecting themselves from dangerous motorists?
Well, cycling writer and former British racing cyclist Michael Hutchinson thinks so. He says only idiots would go to war on a bicycle.
You do feel quite vulnerable as a cyclist, and somebody drives past inches away, the first thing it is frightening. I certainly don't go to war because, frankly, I'm not going to win. I'm wearing maybe lycra or maybe I'm on my way to work with a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. I'm not going to win a battle with a 40-ton truck. So only an idiot's going to go to war on a bicycle.
Cyclist Michael Hutchinson, who says cyclists feel vulnerable, in danger. It can be frightening when a big truck drives very close to you.
I agree. A 40-ton truck driving very close to you while you're trying to cycle on a narrow street can be very frightening.
Jan Etherington, though, still says that cyclists need to change their behaviour. She thinks that since the London Olympics, the problem has got worse where she lives because more and more people are cycling on the roads. And she uses more battle language. Battalions. We usually hear this word when we're talking about soldiers. And cyclists taking up the road, 2 or 3 abreast, in droves, like soldiers marching.
I live in the middle of the Olympic cycling route. Now, from dawn to dusk at the weekend, the cyclists come not as single spokes, but in battalions. There are 2 or 3 abreast of them, and they come in droves. They're not stopping for anyone. A cyclist on a bike at 30 miles an hour is a dangerous machine.
Journalist Jan Etherington, who says cyclists on London's roads are not stopping for anyone. So, Rob, whose side are you on?
Well, you see, I'm a cyclist and a motorist and a pedestrian, so I can see the problem from all sides.
And have you had a chance to think about the question I asked at the beginning of the programme? Bicycling.com made a list of the cities it thinks are best for cycling in. Only one in the top 5 wasn't in Europe.
And I guessed Tokyo in Japan. Come on, I've got to be right.
Well, actually, it's Bogota, Colombia. The top 5 cycle cities, according to that website, are Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Denmark, Bogota in Colombia, Barcelona, Spain, and Berlin, Germany. Have you cycled in any of those cities, Rob?
No, I haven't, but I would love to.
I love to cycle in any city that's flat, so maybe Beijing or Berlin would be my favourites. Well, thanks so much, Rob. And before we go, would you read us some of today's words and phrases?
Of course, we heard gladiators, aggressive minority, to address the problem, vulnerable, battalions, in droves.
Thanks, Rob. And please join us again soon for more 6-Minute English from bbclearningenglish.com. Bye for now.
Bye.
That was 6 Minute English from bbclearningenglish.com.